do with what they have, whether it's going to be an auxiliary nurse or it's going to be just a community health attendant. Now it's going to get to that point whether we like it or not, because we are going to lose. We are going, if we don't do something right now, we are going to lose a lot. And I think with the government coming up with policies of saying you have to practice in your country
for a certain amount of years before you can
that would also work, because that's totally unfair to us as doctors. And if they do that, I don't know the catastrophe it could cause. It could cause a lingering strike that can be longer than that of the lecturers. And when we go on strike, it's a serious problem, because you cannot be telling us to stay back and practice when you leave the country for your own health. It doesn't work that way. That it doesn't work that way. To me, that's hypocrisy.
But from inside, what are you guys doing from within? Because I look at some of the government hospitals. Unfortunately, I have to call the one you're working, which is the one that's most popular and the one we go to. The conditions most of the times do not seem like it's not what a hospital should look like. Yet we hear statements from perhaps your CMD and the government and saying, and then the people would look at it and like, are we dumb or are we blind? Because we go to this place and we see, but it doesn't tally with what you paint or the picture you paint. Is it a situation of politics in medicine, or what really?
Let me get your question very well, Andrew.
I'm trying to understand, right?
Okay.
Because we were just highlighting the work environment.
Okay.
And you were talking about now it might get worse, and you even said, well, what happens when we go on strike? It doesn't really make any sense. So we're saying, for you doctors who are in that environment that is not well structured or put together, and it's not enabling you perform as you ought to, because you might not have the equipment or some other things you need, how are you pushing? What are doctors doing? What can doctors do to cause the government to bring attention to these things, or the management of any health institution across the country that is owned by the government, to address this problem before we have something that we can no longer control?
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. I think this problem has to be from top down, not down up. Now, it has to do with health financing. Look at whatever the budget for next year is going to be like. We take health financing for a joke. I think for us to get this thing, we should get serious. Let's get serious. 2023 is already by the corner. You have to start with stopping those people that we voted from going out of the country. Let us stop joking with all these things, because people will just die and we take it for a joke. Now, let us start. It's the easiest way to start. Take it from me. Stop those we voted to office to go outside and seek health care, and you see the change in our health institutions. Don't put the pressure on whether resident doctors or even on unions, because this is at the case of political will. It's at the point of political will. Those we vote into office should not go out. I'll tell you for true that the only person that we manage in UPTH that we say is a big wit over this time is the father-in-law of the governor. You will hardly see any, even local government chairman.
They don't come to the UPTH.
They don't come to UPTH.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to understand this. Now I'm understanding your point. So the only big figure you would say that you have
that I've seen
that has a political connection or anything,
yes,
is the
father-in-law of the governor of Rivers State. He's the only one that had come.
And how often?
No, just once. So we don't see them. They don't come. But let us take it and swallow that UPTH, as we talk both in Rivers State as a whole and in South geopolitical zones, have the highest amount of professionals, and I mean different specialists of doctors on ground at a particular time. You cannot get that. And take it or leave it too, there are some medical conditions that we need a multi-specialty approach, and those conditions are not better to be managed in a private hospital. If you ask me, because of financial reasons too, they are better managed in UPTH. But now the point here is that we do a lot of health tourism in Nigeria. Those that should come and then see how our hospitals are and make it better. I'm not even using the hospital facilities. We are running to another elections again, and nobody is talking about it. And even the last time it was talked about, the same president that said himself that he wasn't going to do that was
Dr. Precious. Let's take a short commercial. We'll continue shortly. Stay tuned, Nigeria Info.
The show continues after this break.
we're back and we're live. Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria UPTH. Really long commercial. We had to take a break. We're back now. We'll open the phone lines quickly too, so we get your contributions. Meanwhile, my guest is still very much with me in the studio this morning, Dr. Precious Anuonyeh, President Association of Resident Doctors UPTH. Well, he said quite a lot about reasons why resident doctors are leaving the country. But do you think that this migration of resident doctors and doctors in general could be a factor that might push the government to begin to act?
Of course, if the government does not act, then I don't know what they are government for. But my problem is what the way they are acting, the direction they are taking. Initially, they said that we had a lot of doctors. I remember the Minister of Labour saying we have a lot of doctors
giving out some
that we should give out, and even doctors can go into tailoring and farming. We took that as an advice, and we did not drag. Now, you cannot now say that we cannot leave the country. You cannot say that because you trained us or because no. We for those of us that went to public university, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't tariff free. We paid and we paid through our noses. Now, for those of us that even went to private university, that's a different ball game. So, on what premise are you holding us back to stay in the country? That's the better way to solve it. In fact, that should not even go in any way. The way this problem should be solved is to stop up public servants. We can start with the political leaders, and then we go down to public servants of a particular cadre. If we do that, and you know that when you grow in public service, civil service, it means that you may not be able to use other hospitals outside the country. You make sure the hospitals around are good. Now, part of the things why doctors leave this country is when you work and you're not satisfied, you don't get that joy of satisfaction. Now, when you want to work and you don't have what you need to work, or when you're overworked because there are no more doctors in the country, you don't have any other option but to leave. Now, we are the issues are profound, but I think the way we can start with solving of this problem is to stop the political class from using health facilities abroad. Okay. And then even if it gets so bad, we bring it down to those that are high in civil service above a particular rank. Should not use
PAMSEC.
Yes, should not
some
use. Some
PAMSECs will say, Andrew, don't say that.
No, that is the way we can solve this problem. If we start doing that, we'll get our health facilities right.
Okay, we'll talk about some demands by resident doctors that were made in the past. How many have been met and how many are still pending, and what is the government 0923 0923. Again, 070-0923 0923. Also remember that on WhatsApp you can send us messages 0809 030 6416. Hello, we have David from Yenagoa. Good morning, David.
Yeah, greetings from the city of Yenagoa.
Hey, welcome, David. Good morning to you.
Yeah, I think it is quite unreasonable that anyway the figures are not concrete, so to say, but then it's quite unreasonable to hear that 24,000 doctors, resident doctors, are the only doctors we are having in Nigeria to take care of about a population of over 200 million. It's worrisome. In as much as it is worrisome, and we're all, complaining, and that the government should do something, I also want to appeal to the conscience of the doctors too. That Nigeria remains your country. As long as I'm concerned, if you run to anywhere, you will still come back to this same country of ours. So at some point in time, let us also still maintain what I call patriotism, so to say, to still remain. We cannot all run away from the country now. So if we run, who else is going to be here? For me, as long as I care, I'm not going to any place. I love Nigeria and I will remain in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria is going to get better.
All right, David, thank you very much. He believes Nigeria would get better. And it brings me to, is migration the answer?
Okay, thank you very much, David, for that. But then, I think I admire your patriotism. For some of us, we've been very patriotic, but I think this patriotism has a limit, and it gets to the point where you get broken. Now, the problem we have is that doctors do not use different markets, or inflation do not keep doctors. So without doctors or nurses, inflation do not keep them. So we suffer from the same inflation. We use the same market that we all use. Our country has thrown away rule of law. Our country has thrown away meritocracy. So how on earth do you want me? First of all, being a doctor, I have much responsibility for my family. They feel that I'm a doctor, and of course I should be making some money to help everywhere. This is not just for me alone, for all doctors, especially when you're male and female. Now, how do you want us? At what point do we continue being patriotic? Because you get to the point where it seems like you're foolish, both family and friends. I've been here. I know my colleagues, my classmates, my roommate back in medical school, and I know how much he's making in United Kingdom. And comparing that with how much I'm making, it doesn't make any sense. And now the responsibilities do not leave me. I don't use a different market. I don't go to market and say I'm a doctor, and they say, oh, Dr. Precious, take this. It doesn't happen. So I do not blame anyone that leaves the country. And as I keep saying that the exodus will increase, because now a lot of people are breaking down. A lot of people have been very patriotic, but we've yielded. We are at the yield point, and I don't see it. If the government did not do something different, and what I propose is the only way I see us resolving this issue. It's been a big talk about health financing. It's been a big talk about, yes, put money into our health sectors. Imagine health insurance. We are having problems with health insurance.
The agreement, the demands you made, the government, allowances being owed, hazard allowance, I'm sure, and a couple of other issues. How far has that gone?
Well, Andrew, the issue about our remunerations and the federal government are become perennial issues that we get tired even speaking in media. As we just decide to have our meetings and then take decisions depending on how our colleagues deem it fit. Now, the government is owing us a lot of things, and let it be clear. Let the viewers and audience hear it now that hazard allowance was 5,000 naira. What does that mean? Whether I'm exposed to COVID-19, aerosols, COVID-19 blood, or HIV blood, hepatitis blood, whatever I'm exposed to, I have 5,000 naira to manage that. We fought this. This was 5,000 naira since 1991. We fought it until this year was when we were paid the new hazard allowance. What is the new hazard allowance? Is around 32, 35,000. That is the new hazard allowance. Yes, 35,000. Now, how much can that help you treat? We're not talking about, do you know the amount of doctors that have contacted HIV because of exposure? Or do we talk about the amount of doctors that got COVID during the COVID period? Or do we talk about the doctors that get stress from the problems and then without psychological or physical stress? So how much will that do for you? How much will it do? Now, if you go to an oil company and ask a plumber working in that oil company how much it is hazard allowance. So we've lost a lot of things in the countries that we shouldn't blame anyone that leaves the country. Now, on the hazard allowance, we had a meeting with the federal government. We sat and then we agreed, and it was done on a percentage basis. But guess what happened? Federal government came up one day, sometime in December 2021, and brought a memo, and the memo stated that they are going to pay a flat price. Flat prices, like this is the amount we pay for so and so kada, this is the amount we pay for so and so kada. There was nowhere in our negotiation that we talked about flat prices. We agreed on percentage basis, but it's typical of our federal government. Now they've given you that and you must take it. Now we have to take that, and we said no, we didn't agree this. We agreed on a percentage basis. Go back to what we agreed. We didn't accept that immediately because to us it was a spite that we agreed on percentage, and they bring out a total flat price that was not agreed. We don't even know where it came from. Now, after a while, from much counsel from our senior colleagues, the Nigerian Medical Association, and also our sister colleagues, both NAM of the nurses and that of the AMLSM, that's for the medical lab scientists, we listened to those counsel, and then we went ahead to accept the new hazard allowance. Why we still continue negotiation? Now, when that was accepted, that for me that they were supposed to pay us 13 months. Even as we speak now, they've paid only 9 months. We're still waiting for 4 months. So the problems are much. We're not talking about the salaries that is not enough. We're not talking about the allowances that is so epileptic. The issues are much. If Nigeria does not get it right, then we'll have a problem.
All right, let's see if we can take one or two more calls before we wrap things up. 070-0923-0923. Again, 070-0923-0923. 0923-0923. Would migration of resident doctors to other countries perhaps at one point cause the government at all levels to pay more attention to our health sector? Is what we're asking. My guest has said, well, the exodus might even get worse, and a reasonable government should do something, but he's not sure that much would be done. For him, the only option would be if government officials are stopped from going abroad. That way, we might get the attention that the health sector needs. On Facebook, Tamuno Tekena Opuso David says, Nigeria needs restructuring. Daniel Anuonyeh says, right-thinking government will pay attention to health sector, but ours will not, because the citizens' plight don't concern them. On WhatsApp, this message here says, this one says, even the UK medical system, okay, I think this issue is not pertaining to doctors alone. I'm in the IT industry. I know how many good engineers we lose every day. I've decided to stay here anyway, no matter what, because at the end, I will come back home. Everyone that Jakpa, and I know a lot of them, their hope is at the end, they will come back. We that decide to remain would stay back and rebuild. Even the UK medical system is also losing doctors to Australia and all that, pleading to doctors to reconsider. Pleading to you to reconsider.
Well, let me respond.
Let me add this because we're already running out of time.
Okay.
So it says, good morning, presenter. The country is not doing very well to those who are serving in different capacities. If those who want to emigrate wish to, they should move on. When the country is, I think you meant migrate, because emigrate will be within the country. I think emigrate will be within the country. Migrate will be out of the country. When the country is good, they will come back, assuming that there is political oppression as it has happened in some countries or during the military draconian days. What will you do? You will Jakpa. The government is not treating our workers well. Okoroma Godwin Chooks sent in that one. This one says, good morning, Andrew. The reason why doctors are leaving the country because the federal government is not taking care of their welfare package very well. They should go and make some money. Henry from Iwofe, Port Harcourt sent in that message. The police would also say that they're not well taken care of. Should the police also think about leaving the country and perhaps going to work abroad? I don't know if some of them already are, but I'm just saying. You wanted to react to one of the comments.
Okay. Let me start with the comment. Now that will help me even react to that to the police.
In 1 minute. So if you can put it together.
Now, when we talk about migration, when we talk about losing human resources, now there are some professions you can't help. You can't help to use. Now, IT, very important, very good field, but it's easy for IT to even work remotely. But medicine has so much been the case whereby, even in telemedicine, people still prefer that physical touch, that physical feel with the doctor or the nurse. And there is not much you can even get from medicine. Now, but I'm not saying that we'll get better over time. But I'm trying to say that all professions are not the same on migration, and your health is like your greatest. And one thing with health, especially doctors and nurses, it's kind of almost universal. You just need to get to the system and understand the difference, because human beings are basically almost the same. Now, but when you talk about IT or police, those things are, IT in this case can be practice from virtually even your bedroom or your sitting room. You just need a good internet. Police is more of a local thing that do not go universal. What we mean in medicine is that I just have a couple of 2 exams to write and I'm out. If I'm a doctor or a nurse, 2, and these exams are not even as difficult.
We have people who are changing their field. I have a lawyer friend who's now a nurse in the UK. So I'm saying security officials can decide to say, let's go and let's go do a course and become a nurse.
And I wouldn't blame them.
I wouldn't blame them. Same point. Time already out of our hands. I wish we could say more. Thank you very much, Dr. Precious, for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Andrew. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Hello, Port Harcourt is next. Enjoy the rest of the day.
It's the time of the year. Come, let's chill together.